The power to warp the very skein of creation soon outstripped the wisdom of those who wielded it. The hubris of the Mage rose unchecked. Many generations after the first had established Atlantis, their legacy turned sour. Mage turned on Mage, and so was born the First Wizards' War. The victors claimed Atlantis as theirs, and drove the losers to the far corners of the earth. Then, combining their power, they wrought a great spell and erected a ladder to the realms supernal. They spurned the traditional astral paths by which a sorcerer could approach the higher realms by means of a soul journey, for they sought to walk the celestial reaches in their own bodies. They stormed the heights and claimed the thrones of the gods for themselves. Ruling from on high, no longer bound to earth, even their petty dictates and whims became real, for they stood over the lower realm and influenced it with their very thoughts. The subtle veils were rented, and the higher and lower worlds came together, the pure mixed with the impure, and the universe trembled. Spurred by the imminent destruction and corruption of the world, the exiled Mage banded together and assaulted Atlantis, climbing the star ladder and wrestling with the celestial Mage in their heavenly palaces. Their struggles were terrible. The two sides clashed in a chaos of realms, and the losers, sorcerers on both sides, were flung from on high back into the lower realm. The ladder shattered, disintegrating into dust, leaving the victors beyond the reach of the earthbound Mage. Where the ladder had been, reality cracked and fell into itself, creating a rift between the higher and lower realms, a terrible void that sucked life and energy into itself. The abyss divided the realms once more, keeping the high, pure realm from the taint of the low. But this was no subtle veil, permeable to returning souls. It was a gulf of unreality, an aberration that was never meant to be. What was before a single world became two worlds, the supernal world and the fallen world, with a vast abyss between them. The veil between the worlds of spirit and matter hardened, becoming the daunting gauntlet, a barrier impassable except through magic. Shaken by the reverberations of the ladder's destruction, the foundations of Atlantis crumbled and the island sank beneath the waves. The mystical place that had birthed the Mage was no more. The survivors would later wonder, was this the primordial event that created myths of the Flood and the Tower of Babel? Perhaps. Or perhaps the war reverberated throughout time itself, endlessly repeating its disastrous finale in every human civilization to come. Once again, the enlightened escaped to the far corners of the earth, and there began the long, slow process of relearning what was lost. Hunted once again by monsters, their progress was slow, for the needs of survival came before the slow study of the mysteries. What's more, those souls that had not already been touched by the realm's supernal grew dim, like cold lumps of coal hiding dim cinders within. Many forgot their magical heritage and their souls entered a slumber deeper than they had known before. This great decline was known as the quiescence, the sleeping curse. The lie. Cut off from the higher realms, divided from their birthright by the abyss, souls could not maintain their luminosity and so fell into sleep. Worse, the gravity of the abyss pulled on them and weighed down the lids of their inner eyes, causing them to refuse any vision of the higher world. The mags, those who remained awake, could no longer work their magic before those who slept without invoking the powers of the abyss. Only a rare few in any place at any time remained awake, tending the flame of supernal knowledge, keeping the law of magic alive. The watchtowers with the abyss between them and the supernal world, the source of magic, Mage power began to wane. It became harder and harder to draw the supernal energies across the void, and when they could be drawn, they sometimes arrived warped and twisted, with effects unwanted by their wielder. In a number of years, all contact with the higher world would be gone and all of humankind would sleep forever. Then, one by one, the watchtowers appeared, their flames sending beacons from the supernal realms across the vast night to the souls of the awakened.